My name is Evelyn Whitaker, and I am 68 years old. What I am about to tell you is the story of how the quiet, ordinary life I built over nearly half a century was torn apart, not by fate or illness, but by the two people I brought into this world, my sons, Nathan and Caleb, the ones I nursed, taught to walk, cheered at every Little League game, and prayed over every night. They killed their father, and then they tried to bury me alive in a web of lies, greed, and poison. It began on a crisp November morning in Willow Creek, Montana. The sky was the color of old pewter, and a light snow dusted the pines around Oak Hollow Cemetery. We had just lowered my husband Thomas into the ground. 43 years of marriage ended in a plain oak casket chosen by our oldest son because Dad always said he didn't want anything fancy. Nathan stood beside me, arm around my shoulders in what looked like comfort. Caleb hovered nearby, eyes scanning the small crowd of neighbors and old friends as if counting heads, or perhaps calculating how long the service would take. My phone buzzed once, softly, in the pocket of my wool coat. I ignored it at first. Grief makes everything distant. But when the pastor finished the final amen and people began drifting toward their cars, I pulled it out. Unknown number. I'm alive. That's not me in the casket. Don't trust Nathan or Caleb. They're watching you right now. My heart stuttered like an old engine. I stared at the words until they blurred. Thomas had died 10 days earlier. Sudden cardiac arrest, the doctor said. He'd been feeling tired for weeks, short of breath, dizzy spells. Nathan had flown in from Seattle to help out. Caleb drove up from Bozeman the same day. They found him collapsed in the garage, still holding a wrench. By the time I arrived at the hospital, he was gone. I typed back with fingers that felt like wood. "Who are you?" The reply was immediate. "Someone Thomas trusted. Go to the old barn loft, under the floorboard by the third rafter. He left something there 3 days before he died." I slipped the phone away as Nathan approached. "Mom, you okay? You look pale." "I'm fine," I lied. "Just cold." He hugged me tighter, too tight. For the first time, the gesture felt possessive. Thomas and I met in 1979 at the county rodeo. I was 19, working the ticket booth to save for nursing school. He was 21, competing in calf roping on his father's ranch. He lost his hat during a bad fall, and when I handed it back, he smiled that crooked smile that still makes my chest ache. We married a year later in the little white church on Maple Street. No honeymoon, just a weekend in a borrowed cabin by Flathead Lake. We bought our house on 5 acres the next year with a VA loan Thomas earned after 4 years in the Army. We raised hay, fixed fences, raised 2 boys who grew up riding horses and fishing the creek behind the barn. Nathan was the planner, always had a scheme, always wanted bigger. Caleb followed wherever Nathan led. When they went to college, Nathan on a scholarship, Caleb on loans we co-signed, they changed. Degrees in finance and real estate, jobs in the city, expensive suits, wives who spoke in terms of square footage and investment returns. Visits became rare, phone calls shorter. When they did come home, they looked at our weathered clapboard house, the sagging porch, the barn that needed paint, and saw only dollar signs. "Mom, Dad, this place is falling apart," Nathan would say. "Sell it, move to assisted living, we'll handle everything." Thomas always answered the same way. "This land raised you boys. It'll see us out." But last year, the pressure intensified. Thomas's heart had been acting up. The doctor said mild arrhythmia, nothing urgent. Nathan started calling weekly, asking about the life insurance policy, the deed, whether we'd updated our wills. Caleb sent links to luxury retirement communities with views of the mountains. "You deserve to relax, Dad." Thomas refused. "I relax best right here with your mother and the sunrise over the ridge." Then came the weekend they both arrived unannounced. Nathan said it was to check on Dad's health. Caleb brought groceries, organic everything, expensive cuts of meat. They cooked dinner that Friday. Thomas ate heartily. Saturday morning, he complained of nausea. By evening, he was vomiting, clutching his chest. Nathan called 911. Caleb stayed calm, almost too calm. At the hospital, the doctor said cardiac arrest, no foul play suspected, no autopsy requested. Nathan signed the papers. The funeral was quick, too quick. That night, after everyone left, I waited until the house was silent. I put on my old barn boots, grabbed a flashlight, and walked the half-mile path to the barn. Snow crunched underfoot. The wind moaned through the eaves. Inside, the air smelled of hay and old leather. I climbed the ladder to the loft, careful because my knees aren't what they used to be. Third rafter from the left. I pried up the loose floorboard with a crowbar Thomas kept nearby. A metalled tin. Inside, a small notebook, a USB drive, a pharmacy receipt for digoxin, high-potency tablets, and a single Polaroid of Nathan's car parked behind a pharmacy 2 towns over. The notebook was in Thomas's handwriting, entries dated over the last month. October 12th, Nathan asked again about doubling the life insurance, said it's for Mom's security. I said no, he got angry. October 18th, woke up dizzy, heart racing. Pills looked different, smaller. Nathan handed them to me last night. October 25th, found the digoxin bottle in Caleb's duffel bag when they were out. They're switching my heart medication. Symptoms match overdose. If I die, don't believe natural causes. Call Paul Kessler at the pharmacy. He knows. November 2nd, they're pushing to sell the land. Developer wants it for condos. $2.8 million. They think I'm too sick to fight. I changed the beneficiary on the policy back to Evelyn only. They don't know yet. The last entry, dated the day before he died. If you find this, I'm gone. They did it. Protect yourself, Evie. I love you more than this whole damn valley. I sat on the hay bale and cried until my throat burned. The USB had 3 audio files. First, Nathan's voice, low in what sounded like our guest room. She's asleep. Dad took the pills an hour ago. Double dose again tonight. Symptoms should peak tomorrow. Looks like heart failure. Caleb replied, policy's $650,000 now, plus the land sale. We split it clean after Mom signs over power of attorney. Grief will make her easy. Second file, Thomas alone whispering into what must have been an old voice recorder he kept in the barn. Evie, if you hear this, Nathan switched my pills. Digoxin overdose. Slow. Looks natural. Paul Kessler tested one. Triple strength. They want the money. Don't let them near you. Get the body exhumed. I hired a man, Frank Harlan, retired investigator from Mozilla. He has copies of everything. Third file, a phone call Nathan made the day Thomas died. Coroner's on board. No autopsy. Just sign it cardiac. We're clear. I drove to Paul Kessler's pharmacy at dawn. Paul was 72, still working weekends. He listened without interrupting, then pulled a file. Thomas came in 10 days before, said his pills felt wrong. I tested a sample, digoxin at lethal cumulative levels if taken daily. I told him to stop and go to the ER. He said he needed proof first. Paul gave me a sworn statement and the lab slip. Next, I called Frank Harlan. He met me at a roadside cafe outside town. Gray hair, steady eyes, ex-cop. He'd been working for Thomas quietly for 6 weeks. Your husband suspected poisoning after the dizziness started. I placed a voice-activated recorder in the guest room. Those files are mine. I also have photos of Nathan buying the digoxin. Cash, fake name, but the pharmacist recognized him from high school. We went straight to the sheriff. Sheriff Donnelly had fished with Thomas for years. After hearing the recordings and seeing the evidence, he moved fast. Exhumation order that afternoon. Toxicology results took 9 days. Lethal digoxin levels. Chronic overdose. Homicide. Nathan and Caleb were arrested at Nathan's Seattle condo. Nathan denied everything at first, said Thomas must have mixed up his meds. Caleb tried to blame stress. But the recordings, the pharmacy footage, the forged beneficiary change forms, they'd tried to slip them through after the funeral, and bank records showing Nathan's $180,000 gambling debt and Caleb's failed condo flip left no room for doubt. They were planning to help me next, more digoxin in my tea, then declare me incompetent, sell the land, pocket everything. The trial was in the county courthouse, standing room only. Neighbors who'd known us for decades filled the benches. The prosecutor played Thomas's last whisper into the recorder. The room went so quiet you could hear the snow hit the windows. Nathan took the stand, cried, said he only wanted to ease Thomas's suffering. Caleb stared at the floor. The jury deliberated 5 hours. Guilty. First-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, life without parole. I kept the house, the land, the barn. I turned the back 40 into a community fishing pond, free for kids, named Thomas Whitaker Memorial Waters. The life insurance money funds heart health screenings for seniors in the county. No one should die the way Thomas did. Some nights I sit on the porch where we used to drink coffee and watch the sunrise. I talk to him, tell him about the letters Nathan sends from prison, apologies, excuses, pleas. I don't open them anymore. Caleb stopped writing after the first year.